Birth before 37 weeks of pregnancy is preterm birth. And this is because it has been found that babies who are born after 37 weeks of gestation have lesser possibilities of respiratory distress. Actually, it's much better to be born after completed 39 weeks of gestation, because it has been identified that the chances of respiratory distress or neurological deficits can be even present to a tune of about 1% when the babies are born less than 39 weeks of gestation. And that's probably the reason now that we consider giving antenatal steroids to improvise the lung maturity in these babies. However, there are no guidelines to support giving magnesium sulfate as a neuroprotector in this age group. So when we consider preterm births, we have to be definitely sensitive, especially when we are doing elective cesarean sections, not to do them before the completion of 39 weeks of gestation. However, on the other side of the extreme can be that point where the babies have to be born before that timeline, like the mother can have severe hypertensive disorder, baby can have growth restriction. In that situation, with a balanced decision, we can consider delivering babies even at 34 weeks of gestation. With the current excellent NICU practices and the use of screening Dopplers in the right way, using antenatal steroids and magnesium sulfate for neuroprotection, we have been able to deliver better perinatal outcomes. So how do we classify preterm deliveries? The babies who are born before 37 weeks of gestation are preterm babies. These are further subcategorized based on the gestational age. And extremely preterm babies are the ones which are less than 28 weeks of gestation. Very preterm babies are the ones which are between 28 to 32 weeks of gestation. And the babies which are born between 32 to 37 weeks of gestation are called as moderate preterm births. Now, it is absolutely obvious that 32 weeks onwards there will be better outcomes. But we can see in our practices that we make a huge amount of efforts to try to carry the pregnancy at least till 34 weeks of gestation. Why this is important? Because it has been found that within 15 days, if we give an opportunity for the baby to live in the intrauterine milieu, that can definitely improvise on the outcomes. And therefore, one has to be extremely confident about using certain interventions. Now, what is the challenge that we have in preterm labors? Because we have to understand how can we look at why these preterm labors occur. It's not actually a disease. It's an event which has multiple independent causative factors. Everything from cervical insufficiency to maternal stress, inflammatory processes in the body and infection. These are two different things. Hemorrhage, some sort of a bleeding, maybe in the cervical context, or retroplacental bleeding, uterine excessive distension because of a large baby, or polyhydramnios. Immune dysregulation has also been identified to be responsible to cause preterm labors. So what do these all factors conglomerate into? They conglomerate into causing fetal membrane inflammation and decidual inflammation, giving rise to release of prostaglandins and metalloproteinase and matrix metalloproteinase. These give rise to uterine contractions, eventual cervical ripening. Things will become still more difficult if there is rupture of membranes prematurely, landing the woman into preterm birth. So all these factors seem to be a common pathway for all the causes that we have for preterm labor. So what are the various causes of preterm labor? Multiple pregnancy, uterine distension, And many a times we are seeing that multiple pregnancies are a result of fertility treatments. We are usually still practicing transfer of at least 2 embryos, and we are yet not very confident in doing single embryo transfers. So multiple pregnancies also can be a result of ovulation induction, and that can cause overdistension of the uterus. Smoking or nicotine usage in the woman has been identified to be one of the causes. Fortunately enough, in India, we do not have so much of smoking rampant in especially women planning babies. One of the other important causes of preterm labors identified is genitourinary infections. Now, genitourinary infections can be something like bacterial vaginosis. It can be a urinary tract infection, asymptomatic bacilluria, which needs to be screened at 16 weeks of gestation, has been identified to be one of the causes. There can be decidual hemorrhages. There can be a maternal stress, maybe too much of anxiety, too much of overwork, physical, mental, hyperworked woman, which has a previous history, especially women who have a previous history of miscarriages or losses are extremely anxious, and these women can be sort of have a higher incidence of preterm labors. And this problem has also been affected significantly by medical advances such as infertility treatments and changes in the neonatal survival. Today we know that even babies who are around 26 weeks of gestation, which we call as extreme premature babies, are also able to be taken to a better life in future. Of course, the number of this is very less. Of course, the centers are always not equipped, and many of women in India are delivering much away from these wonderful facilities. Preterm labor especially has a huge context in India. As an Indian obstetrician, it is extremely important that we are sensitive towards this malady, because if you look at the 10 top countries of the world which have preterm labors as the first 10 occurrences, where you find that more than 1 in 10 babies are born early or premature, India tops the number. And how much was this number, which was come up in the WHO statistics of 2012 and 2016 rated, and it was found that nearly 3,51,09,100 babies are born premature in India every year, which is double the amount of premature babies born in China. The reason why we have to pay attention to this factor is China has a huge population compared to India, and still India contributes to very high numbers of preterm births. The major causes that have been identified, and each one of them has a subdivision of about 25% contribution, is the PROM, that is premature preterm rupture of membranes, spontaneous preterm births, iatrogenic preterm births, usually due to maternal diseases, fetal growth restriction, or certain fetal indications or malformations in the baby, and infections and inflammation. Now, many a times inflammation is considered to be an infection. But I think today we must understand that infection will come, do its job and go away. But it will modify the immune response of the body in such a fashion that there can be an inflammation, which is a continuous cytokine kind of an imbalance. This can be something similar to the cytokine storm that we started understanding in the COVID pandemic. A similar kind of a chronic cytokine storm is present in the woman's body, which gives rise to preterm births and PROM. And this identification and sensitivity towards this problem is essential and has to be understood. So preterm births is inflammation, and that's what we need to understand.